Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Can you hear the sound, Tony?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you.
I was introducing myself and I wanted to also bring you aboard as the chairperson. Tony is in a little bit warmer weather than we are right now, so him and I will kind of conduct this together. So we can begin the meeting now. Can we start with the roll call, please?
Yes. Ron Weiss,
Here.
Luann Ruck,
Here.
Renita Jones, here, Tony Baldridge,
Here,
Dave Perdue.
Here. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. We have the minutes to review, first of all, for December 10th. Has everybody looked at those? Yeah,
I'm okay with them.
is that, we have a motion on that?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the December 10th regular session minutes, and I will second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded for the approval of December 10th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's go to December 15th, 2025, special session meeting.
And I will make a motion that we accept minutes from the December 15th meeting, session meeting. I have one note on that, down in the new business section, one, two, three, the fourth bullet point down, you wanna make it, we change Mr. to Mrs. Rupp.
Oh, sorry about that.
And that's okay, I just have to read it all this time. And I have one other question, is on this minute, when I started reading it. Because there's been too many planning and zoning committee meetings. I wasn't sure what this was for, so should we just make a comment like after the first bullet point? The dark black one, the planning and zoning decision, where it says read the recommendation from December 11th, 2025. Hearing relating to whatever, such and such property or case number, or I don't know if you have case numbers for P and Z committees or how they designate that. Just for clarification, if you guys think, for ease of,
Ease of finding it later.
yeah, and knowing what they're talking about.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what units and numbers we want to put on that, but.
Yeah, I don't know, Danielle, do you put it, oh no, or maybe it's Daryl.
There's an application number attached to them, yes, or I can put the company, whichever you
Yeah,
prefer.
let's put the company, that may be easier to follow. And, and maybe in parentheses, put the application number too, just to be sure, in case he changed the name. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion, revise that motion that Luann made, that we accepted the December 15th minutes with the changes I mentioned, adding the specific property location, name and location, or application number, and then Mr. and Mrs.
That's right, you recalling the motion.
Excuse me?
Are you recalling?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Okay.
Read it, and is there a second? on
Yeah,
that
I'll second
motion?
it, yes.
Okay, Danielle, do you have that down?
Yes.
Okay, can we vote on that? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. All right, so let's go on to, our, yes, why everybody's here. So we have the Shepherd's Canyon Special Use Permit, okay? I think the way we'll kind of conduct this for a second, and again, Tony, please jump in whenever. I'm trying to take this on, but I think we're gonna just if we can just do a 5-minute dissertation, what we had before is 2 nights ago. They had presented the their use or their want for the special usage permit. We had I don't know, it was a 3 hour meeting, I would say, or something with P and Z and a group and great group as there is here tonight. So I appreciate everybody comes to this again. Some of these are the same familiar faces. So I don't think we have to go through the presentation again. If you can give a 5 minute on yours, Kevin, and then I think after that, then we'll follow up with who wants to have from the audience for some comments, and then we'll have the chairperson from P and Z. So everybody that wants to talk, we're gonna get you also, because I've been on the other side of the line driving down the highway trying to zero in on these meetings, and if you're not talking into that mic,
Right, okay.
you don't hear it.
Is that
So
turned on?
pull it a little closer.
Yep. You have to get close to it.
Yes, and it works when it's close, but it does,
Sometimes.
it's really difficult. Kevin saying to you, you're on.
Yeah, I'll just hold it because I'm used to doing that.
Okay,
stuff.
all right, thank you.
All right, and then, Tom, if you can pass those out to the trustees and Danielle and Tom. I'll just go ahead and start while you guys are getting those here. Basically, this is just a timeline of how we got here, because I don't think everybody really even fully understands how did this all happen. There's some misunderstandings. So October 2023, Tom and I became the leaders of Shepherd's Canyon. The ministry was growing, and we were praying for God to open opportunities for us to buy in case that was his will. September 2024, we met Pastor Chris Morris for the first time at a conference in Nebraska. He told us about his property, and we told him that we had no money for this, but we'd love to see his property, and he promised not to sell it until after we saw it in person. October 2024, we went to the property, and it seemed to be perfect for what we had been praying. But we still had no money, and so we asked him not to sell it for a little while longer, and we also helped make, and so he agreed, and so we also helped make connection. He helped us make connections to the right people at the village and POA to make sure we were not violating any zoning and covenant rules. And after talking to many people and reading the rules, we thought this would work. November 2024, we sent out a letter to our donors telling about this possible opportunity. And we even took a couple out to lunch to share with them our vision. And they ended up donating enough money for us to purchase the entire 1.17 acre property. January 2025, we purchased a home. Residents heard about our purchase and found our website, which described our Arizona site as a hotel-style resort. They assumed that we were doing the same thing here in Missouri, which is simply not true. We're looking for a more cost-effective way to help pastors, missionaries, and other ministry leaders and spouses. At that point in time, we thought about buying some of the adjacent vacant lots to preserve the natural quiet beauty of the lake. But since area residents were opposed to us doing that, we abandoned that idea. Plus, it would mean we'd have to pay thousands of more dollars every year in POA fees just for owning empty lots. Anyway, February 2025, the village trustees received calls about the project after a neighbor posted her concern on social media. So a special closed meeting was held February 26 to discuss the matter. We were not part of that closed meeting, and no resident opposed to our plans for the property ever contacted us personally until this past Saturday. One young woman called me and seemed pleasantly surprised by the truthful, candid answers that she got to her misinformed questions. Anyway, March 2025, we received a cease and desist letter from the village attorney to immediately cease and desist all non-conforming activities that do not conform with section 3237 of the village code at the property. We were told in this letter that we had two options: either apply for rezoning or apply for a special use permit. We were also to ask to appear at the March or April meeting of the village trustees. We attended the March 12th meeting, and because of the short timing, we were not officially placed on the agenda, so we only had the 5 minutes to explain our ministry. From April to December, since that meeting, Tom and I have been traveling around the country to continue our jobs of raising awareness and raising funds for this ministry. We've been to churches and conferences in Missouri, Illinois, Nebraska, Ohio, New York, New Hampshire, Arizona, California, Alaska, Montana, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Hawaii since April. And I've also had several surgeries during that time. And so during the whole past year, we were glad we had time to meet at least some of our nearest neighbors by inviting them over to our home for a visit or a meal. And we've met many others in the village who supported us on Monday night's P&Z meeting. We look forward to meeting
all the rest of our neighbors on or near our 55-acre Tree-Line Lake. So October to December, we were ready to apply for a special use permit, but then found out that even though we were not adding anything visible to the exterior of our property, we still had to spend nearly $5,000 for this piece of paper, an engineering survey that is required by the application process. The survey shows where our new underground septic fields will be and where our 97 trees are located on the property. This delayed our application process a couple of months. So, January 12th, we made our presentation to the Planning and Zoning Commission and explained how peaceful and helpful our ministry is. We're not going to rehash that because, she said a lot of these people were there. Even though the majority of people attending, and the majority of people who sent emails were in favor of us getting a special use permit, the commission's vote was 2-2, and the recommendation was voted down with the chairman's no vote. So, conclusion and one question. Shepherd's Canyon is a 501c3 nonprofit Christian ministry that is a recognized service organization of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. We respectfully request a special use permit according to section 3237, 2 special permit G, churches, convents, rectories, or similar religious institutions. The home we purchased a year ago will be used as a parsonage or a rectory to house a pastor and his wife. According to the IRS, parsonage can be owned by a nonprofit and does not need to be adjacent to a church. 3 of you on the board were there at the planning and zoning meeting and spent more than 2 hours hearing about our ministry, quiet-based counseling ministry, and so we're not going to rehash all that. We've invested lots of time and energy and resources in this. And in a year-round parsonage with 11 additional restrictions suggested by the P&Z, and only 6 weeks per year of small group counseling for the exhausted pastors. So if it's not approved, then my question is which of the special uses listed in your ordinances would ever be approved? Throughout the process, many residents said that they appreciate our ministry, but they bought a house here because of the zoning rules, and I respect that. I'm really grateful for that. But those same zoning rules that they like also include a section for special use permits, because the community agreed that certain limited exceptions should be possible when they meet the standards. In other words, the opposition we heard on Monday was not so much about our ministry, but it was more about a disagreement with the village's own rules for allowing special uses. And that was even written online by someone. The residents also concerned about precedent, but not granting a permit that fits with your ordinance sets a different precedent that none of the permitted special use exceptions will probably ever be approved. So anyway, if that is the direction the village wishes to move, the next logical step would be to remove all special use categories from the ordinance altogether. Anyway, Shepherd's Canyon wants to be a respectful neighbor, a quiet presence, and a blessing to this community. We only ask to operate within the rules that the village itself has created. Thank you for considering our request.
Thank you, Kevin. I guess we'll move to now those that are on the list. And those that would like to talk for or against it on the list. Let's try to limit that down to 4 or 5 minutes if we could. And we'll start with the residents. Whoever would, as a village board super presidents, let's start with those first, then we'll fall back if there's any other folks that would like to talk that are not residents, then you will.
Okay. And there's a few residents here that may want to speak at some point, but we can follow your direction.
Okay. So if my first name I have here is Richard Ott. Richard here. Richard, did you want to speak this evening on anything? Okay. We have George Woodrum out here. Okay, George, would you like to speak?
Yes.
Okay, please, again, go back to that microphone. Speak right into it like it was your best friend, so that I know we can all hear you here, but all of those folks on the TV. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak here tonight. I've been in several meetings. stressed my concerns with letting them have the special permit. You know, we went from zoning to permit. And now we have a clearer vision of what the focus is on and what they're wanting to do. And there again, as I said, every night I've been here, I had nothing against the ministry. I think it's a great ministry. I'm just concerned as someone, I've been here about 5 years now and we retired here. And I'm just concerned that when you make one exception and another group comes in you don't like, and you say no, and then they come back and say, well, you discriminated against it. Unfortunately, the world we're living in is more and more about people suing people, and they find any way they can to hurt somebody. And that's my concern. Like I said, I have nothing against the people at all. I'm totally for what they're doing. Another thing I'd like to add, and this is really to you guys. I noticed the other night, we had to lock the doors and turn people away. People wanted to come to the meeting, and maybe in the future, it's just a suggestion, that when you see that you have such a large concern of what's going on, you know people coming, find a bigger location so you can have everyone come and everyone has the opportunity to speak. Thank you very much.
Great, okay, thank you, George, I appreciate that thought too. I think we were a little bit surprised that there was gonna be this many people that could have shown up, but our bad on that. We will work on that for the next meetings. Angie, Bushi, but I don't totally botch that, thank you.
So, yeah, I don't wanna go back over everything that I said the other night, but, I was concerned, he mentioned that there were a lot of people here that were in favor, but I had several friends and several of my neighbors, immediate neighbors that are in the neighborhood, who I feel like should have been in here. I thought that I made a comment about, when you're letting people in the door, maybe before you let just people that are random from the church or whatever. I know they put things in the bulletin, in their church bulletin about getting people to show up and write letters. But I feel like the people that lived in the neighborhood should have had some priority. I mean, some of my immediate neighbors got shut out. Carol left and got shut out, didn't get to speak. A few of my friends told me that there was quite an argument out in the parking lot, and about 25 to 30 people were turned away, and a lot of those were our neighbors. My immediate neighbors to both sides did not get in. And so, yeah, I agree with that, that we need to probably make sure that, because I don't think everybody really got heard. Also, I'm really curious as to, so you've set the, what was it, the first list of reasons, the permitting reasons. But I'm curious as to why, 113, section 32-113, why that wouldn't apply here, home occupation. I've gone through it and combed through it, and I don't see exactly where there's anything that cuts 113 off. And you were saying that if it doesn't apply to any of this, then all these special permits, but that is a lot of subsection. So you get they sent those copies around last night that had just the buildings, but then underneath that is pages of subsections that explain what ones, and it does have a subsection for home occupations, and there's 9 items under there. And that is, I don't understand why that wouldn't apply to them, because there's 4 items in there, and in the spirit of that, if you read through that, it makes sense that it would apply to them.
It's entirely possible that the community code has not been updated, but in order to qualify for a home occupation, you can only consume 20% of the residence. That's not what they're doing. They're consuming the entire residence, as I understand it. So that would not be applicable here.
113 at all, none of them.
20%. You can use 20% of your residence for home occupation on them. And I don't know if that's the online presence or not. It could be that we haven't updated it. We only update it annually, but only 20% of your residence can be used for home occupation.
And they're using all of their homes
That's
for
my
homes, so they don't qualify.
That's my opinion, yes.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt that.
No, that was the
Same time.
question I had.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
and that was where I was gonna go also, is bring counseling on that, because I sure don't know that. I don't know what chapter and verse either, so go ahead.
So, yeah, when you get down to that, that was my my question was, why are we not applying 113 to this situation? So I'm still a little bit confused, but I'll wait for you guys to explain it. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Is it already if I clarified something? I was like turning people away. There were 3 people that entered that wanted to attend. And they came in here and talked to 3 people, and those 3 people left and allowed 3 people to come in. There were only 2 other people that came in to the desk where I was standing and asked to come in and could not. So, to my knowledge, coming into the building, now there could have been all kinds of stuff on other departments in, in the parking lot, but I only turned 5 people away. Okay.
I may further address that. I've been here for a decade. We've never had overflow in 10 years. That's. So we have to excuse the trustees on this instance, because in 10 years, we've never had an overflow crowd. In this particular instance, they had to close the door apparently for safety, health, safety, and welfare concerns because of the fire code. Our apologies are extended. We look forward to that. If it was George that made the comments previously, that's why we had an overflow. It just hasn't happened in the past. So it's a unique unicorn for us, and there was no preliminary signups or anything of the sort. We could have had 6 people show up. And we've had some hot topics over the last 10 years, and I thought we'd have 100 people here, and it just didn't happen. So, most of these individuals sitting up here win election with 40 votes. It's a small, intimate community, and to have this type of a crowd is terribly unique. Thank you.
Can you address the advertising fact that we had to advertise this ahead of time, so changing the location at the last minute?
Yes. That's the other factor. They came to me and said, what about changing? And it had been too late. We have to post notice of the meeting in advance. It would have been very difficult to change that. We would have gotten, like I said, we changed the forum as opposed to keeping the forum the same where we left it. So that's a quick explanation. Thank you for your comment.
Yep. I did promise John that I would try to make more meetings.
Thank you, Angie. We do appreciate that, and we will work on that for the next meeting. There's a lot of things like this, like the TVs and the microphones and everything else that's still, as well as the sunshine law, but it's great to see everybody here. Again, usually it's just us 5, council. Nancy shows up, sheriff's department shows up, and that's it, and it usually lasts about an hour instead of 3 hours, okay? But that's all right. We love to have you here.
The clerk was trying to get your attention.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He needs to leave. Is it possible for him to speak? He's one of their representatives, so he's not on the sign up.
Absolutely. Great time. Yes, thanks for bringing that.
Sleep.
Yes. Oh, gosh.
Aiden's power off cell phone. I'll time me so y'all don't have to. Do not tell the elders of Christ the Lutheran Church this is ever enough. So here we go. Thank you very much. I will be driving 6 hours back to Nebraska as soon as I wrap up my comments here. Stopwatch. Start. Thank you for doing the job you've been elected to. My name is Reverend Dr. Christopher Morris. I bought property for the first time in the Village of the Four Seasons in November of 2010. I've bought half a dozen other properties in the Village of the Four Seasons since. I raised all 4 of my kids here. We live within the exact walking distance halfway between Autumn Lake and Good Oak Lake, right there on Cornet Ranch. My kids grew up on daily walks down to the lake to skip rocks. We love raising our children here. I still own property here. I will continue to own property here. I will retire here. I will perhaps consider taking some of the burden off your shoulders and allow myself to run for office. Meeting's only an hour. Come on, dude. Tell the elders like this 3 hour stuff.
That's the record. It's the record.
Bad practice. Okay, here we go. So, my little daughter, if we're talking about Good Oak Lake, my little daughter caught a 48-inch spoonbill one time when we were trolling for crappies, and she got on the front page of y'all's publication. She then won the kayak the next year at the rodeo that Larry and his wife put on, and I'm gonna miss Larry until I see him again in heaven. This place will always matter to us. I will always be one of your property owners. I never came to a meeting because there was never reason to.
I was tempted to come back from Nebraska during the defund the police thing to tell everyone to be nice and calm down, but I couldn't make it fit in my work schedule, so I'm doing it here tonight. What is before you is called a special use permit. You are governed by your governing documents and you are fulfilling your vocation well in applying them. I'd never been to a meeting till Monday. I was very impressed with what I said. Sir, you're running a good meeting. Okay, the governing documents as written today are what you have to operate under. What we're talking about is a special use permit. And the governing documents say that this thing exists. It's not up for discussion today on whether we not like to have them or not. Like they already, it's there. You can have another meeting later and take it out if you want, but we can't operate under that today. The law of Missouri is on your side, and Councilor Miller, I can have my pro bono lawyer get a statute quote to you. Missouri state statute, you guys, case by case. Every time. If anybody wants to come after them and try to be as excellent as they are, go ahead. Quote whatever you want for precedent. Each one will be judged by its merits, and I hope they have good representation, because I can't imagine a group more trustworthy than them. They are why special use permit exists. There is no such thing as a slippery slope. There is no such thing as precedent setting. And even if there was, okay. George, I agree with everything you said right now. You're in favor of them, but you don't want a can of worms being opened in an overly litigious culture. Amen, brother. I don't either. Okay. You want to, trustees, you can set the gold standard tonight of what a special use permit looks like. Make everybody be at least as amazing as this ministry that everyone voted no said they admire and would love to have for neighbors. Sir, I do not, the burden that was on your shoulders to have to be the one and only vote that mattered on me. I'm sorry, I've been in that position. I never liked it. Because just like at church, when the vote's 50-50, everybody loses if we have bad attitudes, right? And you took a half vote in the room and a 66-33 vote online and said no. I want that out of you in the future. For anybody else that applies for a special use permit, I hope you keep your appointments so you can keep being a bulldog for us. Make them be at least this good, but let this be the gold standard in an Olympic year of what a special use permit looks like. I was so encouraged. I got to see some of my neighbors last night when I walked in here with 2 minutes to spare and saw you guys, all of you. I was thankful. Mary Perkins, I told you before this meeting, I appreciate your well-reasoned, data-driven, dispassionate, dignified opposal to this. We've been neighbors and friends a long time. Thank you. To the chairman, thank you. Or no, about the chairman, because I cannot. Okay. I respect, long may he reign. George, good to meet you, brother. I agree with you. Impassioned votes help no one. Clean, clear logic, operate under statute, seize the day, set the standard. Other neighbors. I walked those streets long, like Veronica's only been gravel 2 years. I've been walking, yes, I've got 5 seconds. The quality of this neighborhood is above reproach. I know all these people on this picture, and the day that that young man killed himself on the hood of his car, and my friend Mike had to find his body, that did not threaten our neighborhood. We took those lumps and we survived. When Austin was shot right here, and my kid had to be told by a game warden, honey, you gotta go home, there's an armed gunman in the neighborhood. That did not make us want to stop living here. There's evil in our neighborhood already, Shepherd Canyon ain't it. They're light in a dark place. Special use, things exist for a reason, set the gold standard. Thank you for voting yes. Please, I know sometimes in things we just rubber stamp decisions. Don't do that. Tell this man you're grateful for him, disagree with him, and we need to vote tonight in favor of Shepherd's Canyon, the new gold standard of what a special looks like in the village. Thank you. And goodbye.
Yeah. Safe travels back to state of Nebraska.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry I went over by
No,
47
okay.
seconds.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, and this guy does a great job.
Mary. Michael?
Hey, Michelle.
I'm sorry. That's I'm probably the first one that ever really bought
No,
something.
the bizarre part is Missouri is the only state I've lived in where they look at D. Michelle and actually pronounce it DeMichael, which is the Americanized price. I'm just in awe, actually.
apologize.
It's all right. I'm kind of confused about some stuff. I have a statement. It was actually, we weren't sure, since Carol didn't get a chance to speak, she submitted an email. I didn't know if it got to any of you.
I received a receipt that it was received by Daniel.
They have them.
Okay, would it be okay if I kind of maybe read some of this out loud and?
Sure.
I got 5 minutes.
Again, we're just, I say five
Yeah,
minutes.
absolutely. So what came to mind after the last meeting, and I could be wrong on this understanding, so this is my understanding, so help me out here. Shepherd's Canyon claims that the property constitutes a parsonage under special permit and as such is not engaged in business activity. And is exempt otherwise from applicable zoning regulations like the one we referenced before for home occupations. And I believe this is just factually and legally unsupportable. Based on a lot of the stuff I talked about last week, not the other Monday. Shepherd's Canyon on retreat were not conducting business activity, then we have no need for exemptions from the home occupation subsection, which are being recategorized as the restrictions by the building inspector of the Village of the Four Seasons that he gave on Monday, when one of the restrictions read that they were going to be allowed to do their 6 retreats, which clearly are in violation of the codes under home occupation. So totally confused about that. So if the village grants a special permit with their proposed restrictions, this would in effect authorize a nonprofit corporation to operate a retreat center in an R1 residential district, monetizing not only its services, but also the amenities of our private POA. Such a decision would invite other commercial operators to seek identical privileges, eroding the residential character of the neighborhood and the integrity of the zoning code. And we all know property values rely on consistent zoning. Granting a special use permit with such cherry-picked exemptions would effectively constitute a de facto or backdoor rezoning of this residential neighborhood. Moreover, this approach would establish a dangerous precedent, exposing the village to legal challenge on the grounds if they attempt to deny similar requests later without appearing arbitrary, capricious, or discriminatory, and that it confers preferential treatment on a single applicant in violation of fundamental principles of equal application of zoning laws. And then I go on with all my points supporting that, which I won't bore you with. But that's my understanding of where we're at with this. And I don't think it should be misrepresented that while many people, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but getting the sense that was kind of mischaracterized possibly by Pastor Morris, was when we say we support what you do, we'd still like you to do it somewhere where it's zoned properly. You know, not that we support what you do and please give them the special permit, just not anyone, no. That's not what I think our spirit is, but other people can speak for themselves. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you, man.
Will we have a chance to clarify any questions that don't get asked by you all for clarity? Or
I'm not sure of your question. Once everybody kind of goes through, we're gonna go through our stuff. Daryl is gonna talk about the meeting of the night.
yeah,
And hopefully the questions will be answered by that time.
yeah.
So
Do I have 10 more seconds?
sure, I'll give you 10 more seconds. 16 grand.
So this is a question kind of like with the point with the POA. One of the things was the client. Is it clients who attend the retreat are deriving direct benefit from the amenities of the private POA. So even though those amenities are reserved exclusively for residents and their personal guests, these individuals are not guests of the homeowners. They are clients of the operation. The fact that their attendance may be subsidized through donations or grants does not alter the commercial nature of the relationship. They're participating in a structured fee-supported program operated by the applicant, and their use of POA amenities constitute an improper extension of private residential benefits to a commercial institutional use. And that is a big issue that is driving what we feel. It is not wanting, not wanting good people or good neighbors or quiet neighbors. It is that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, now, since we've kind of over limited for both sides, I think right now, we will try to set it up for that 5 minutes or less from here on out, if we can. Okay, Maggie Bell, you're in, if you want to speak. Thank you.
Too short. Looked it up, okay. That good? Okay. Obviously, I'm Maggie. I'm a resident of the village for 23 years. And I've been to, I think the ones that have been undoubted, but there've been many who have to admit that I'm not. I am here only to discuss the application of the special use permit. We got a little off track on Monday night and all kinds of other things we're talking about. First of all, we granted a KLO permit in 2018 for a residence for KLO within the village. Under the special use permit, I don't know how you did that, but you did that, so I'm assuming that's okay.
Maggie, may I stop you right there and explain?
Yes.
So that's by statute. That's an operation of law. There's a statute in the state of Missouri that says you can have up to 6 or 7 clinically diagnosed, not incapacitated, but somewhat disabled people living on private residence. So if your state legislatures specifically passed a law that mandates that this village recognize and permit that activity to occur, they're not operating under a special use permit. They're actually operating by operation of law. So you could arguably do that here in the village if you chose to. We fought that litigation failed. It was not going into great detail, but the village opposed that activity, sent in a similar cease and desist letter, and there was litigation. Only from the litigation did we discover that these 6 or 7 people were clinically diagnosed. They kept relying upon HIPAA laws and the prohibition against sharing medical information. They just said, trust us, this is what we're doing. And the village trustees wanted to trust but verify, so we had to litigate that topic, and ultimately it was found that their operation was legal pursuant to Missouri law.
Okay, so if anybody coming for counseling to this facility that's under discussion got a diagnosis as a depression or suicidal, does that qualify?
They would have to be clinically diagnosed, as I don't have the statute in front of me, but I remember Missouri law saying that it has to be 6 or 7 people clinically diagnosed residing in the premises. So they wouldn't be coming and going for retreat. They would actually be residing in that place.
So then actually, there's never been a special use permit granted
Not for that residence.
or for anything.
Oh, I can't speak to that. Within the last decade, I can't remember too many special use permits. But you've been here 23 years, right? So let's talk about the history where she's been since you're all here. She was essentially established by the Copper family.
Yes.
To be almost entirely private residences. He didn't want much of anything out here except for the lodge. The lodge was the only commercial purpose for a long period of time, is my understanding. We've got about half a dozen restaurants. We've got 1 gas station. And short of that, you can't get your nails done. You can't get your hair done. You can't get much done out here on Horseshoe Bend unless you go to the extreme boundaries that Lake Ozark in that direction, or the county in that direction. That's why you see the H-toads and the activities that happen out on the point, because they're outside the jurisdiction of the village of Four Seasons.
Exactly.
But within the village of Four Seasons, we have very few sales tax revenue sources. We have very few commercial enterprises, and the comprehensive plan is set up in such a way that there probably won't be too many in the future either.
And the commercial enterprise we have are in the commercial zone. Yes, I understand that. So, but you do have a section here that's for a special use permit that you guys have set out what is incorporated and what qualifies for that special use permit.
Of course.
Okay, so under the G, under the special use permit, it states churches, convents, rectories, or similar religious institutions are listed, which is basically this would be a parsonage or rectory or whatever you want to refer to it as. And this is not based on anybody's opinion, this is just in your statement that calls for a special use permit, it states right there. So I don't think we need any opinion, it's just a statement, right?
I'm going to make an argument with you, Maggie. Do you have any resource or a source that indicates that a rectory, that the activity that they're doing is a rectory? I can make an argument that it's not a rectory as well.
But we refer to them as a parsonage.
But a rectory is generally considered to be affiliated with Catholic Church.
Right, that is our parsonage.
Sure, and it's also residents.
Exactly, which it is.
Yes, but those parties don't generally have commercial activities or anybody coming for particular activities. So that's where these people live. So I just did a quick chat GPT while you guys were talking earlier. It doesn't meet the definition pursuant to chat GPT. I don't have a case law in front of me. I haven't done a great deal of research on it, but I think we can have just as many arguments that it's not a rectory as to just, make a flat statement that it's a rectory. Or extension.
Okay, maybe you want to change your definition possibly for a special use permit.
I think you would have
And
to.
Todd, just because they're listed, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed. We have to apply that to the whole ordinance.
True. Just because it's listed as one of the potential special uses doesn't mean it's a mandate by this body here to accept the application. Special use permits by and large part are entirely discretionary. And the village trustees can, much like an at-will employee, can look at the application and say, we just don't like it, and deny it for the most part. Now, there can be litigation subsequent to this as to whether it's a rectory or a parsonage, and perhaps a judge down the road can tell us if it's a rectory or parsonage.
Yes.
But again, in a 5-minute chat GPT research, it doesn't seem to fit the definition. Go ahead, Matt, I got me direct.
Okay, I'm sorry, I might be taking the.
No, I'd say go ahead, Maggie, because you got the floor right now.
Okay, there was the word retreat, used a lot on Monday evening as something, I guess, detrimental to our cause or whatever. If you look up retreat to talk, what it says is to withdraw from a difficult or dangerous situation, a place of privacy, safety, or refuge. So yes, there are lots of places we could refer to as a retreat. It's not a actual building. It is a place people go to for refuge. And given all the restrictions that were placed on the whatever that is that he gave from your committee the other night, the recommendation. And then there were 11, I think, restrictions on it. I guess what I don't understand is why those restrictions then didn't make it okay. If you're gonna put all these restrictions on it, then why would that not be acceptable? That's a question. The other thing is the POA gets to decide who uses our amenities. It has nothing to do with the village. So.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm gonna stay with.
Maggie, if I may, I'll speak to your 11 things. I'm looking at the minutes from the meeting. I'm sorry I wasn't able to attend in person, but the meeting and it says that there was a motion with respect to some conditions, perhaps to make the special use permit contingent upon these conditions, and that motion failed, it looks like. But it is possible to put conditions or contingencies on a special use permit. For example, the special use permit could be for a year, or the special use permit could be for a certain portion of the property, or it could limit the number of cars. There's a lot of conditions you can put on it. The reason the village probably won't embrace that idea is that young man that just handed me a piece of paper, and that young man sitting down the hallway are the 2 staff members that work for the village for 4 seasons. They have a contract for law enforcement. It wasn't for the county sheriff's office, there wouldn't be any tickets and arrests made perhaps in the village of 4 seasons to prosecute the village code. So it would be a burden perhaps on staff to continue to police whether they were using the entire property where those conditions were met. So that probably won't be embraced going forward. And that's why conditions like that generally fail.
Maggie, thank you. Council, I'm gonna let you chat for just a second here, okay? So I'm gonna break this out of the order of business here. So since we have our council step in, you step in for a short time here. Because I don't like to carry this on back and forth all night long, you know, but I'd like to hear, you know, your comments on it.
I'll be very brief. My name is Butch Miller. I'm the attorney here on behalf of Shepherd's Canyon. And I just wanted to clarify some of the things that have already been said. We do not consider this operation to be a home office in any way. In my view, a home office is like an accountant, somebody who's an accountant who works from home, using an extra bedroom and, you know, works from home occasionally or regularly. But they don't have customers coming to and from the house a lot and things like that. It's certainly not like a McDonald's or something like that. But that's not what this operation is. This is going to be the full-time home of a semi-retired pastor who will preach throughout the lake area, while supporting the ministry and serving as a fill-in when another pastor is out sick or on vacation or something. They will be there full-time. They are hosting groups, small groups of up to 4 pastors, up to 6 times a year in their home. This is not tremendously different from when we all have out-of-town guests come stay at our house for, you know, for a period of time in the summer. But we're seeking, the house is a single-family resident. It will be occupied full-time as a residence. We are seeking a special use permit under subsection G, which allows rectories, convents, or similar religious institutions. I don't have any case law that says a rectory would never have groups come in and meet or talk or seek counseling from a pastor or a priest. But if it doesn't quite fit exactly as a rectory, we think it fits as a similar institution because the vast majority of the time, this property is going to be occupied by a man and a woman, and that's it. It's probably, you know, a significant underuse of this, 5,000 square foot home. But you will have guests come in, pastors, who are going to be quiet, they're going to be in the house, they're going to be praying, they're going to be meeting with a therapist, a chaplain. They're not here to have a great time and go on vacation and you know, have a fun time at a resort style retreat. That is, Arizona is more set up as a resort. And that's what the website shows, because it doesn't make sense to have too much on this operation at this website, but the group is moving to smaller properties. So the conditions that were proposed by staff completely acceptable to the organization, so that the trustees don't have to worry about setting precedent. I don't think there's you'll probably never get another application from a group that wants to do what Pastor Kevin wants to do specifically with these conditions. And this is a one-off, and I think that's exactly what a special use permit process is for. Thank you.
Counselor, thank you. I'm gonna stay back with the group, and there might be some discussion later. So let me get back in with Paul. Is that it?
It is. Sugar record.
Sure.
That's amazing.
Okay, no, I wanted to hear him say it.
Yeah, no, it's nice to.
No.
Thank you, everybody. Like I said, my name is Paul Shepard. I appreciate everything that everybody does. That's why, I and my wife and, family started to, come to the Lake of the Ozarks since the 80s. We bought our first place down here. It's always been on Horseshoe Bend. And it's been, in large part because of the protection, the covenants, the agreements, the bylaws, and the lack of circumvention of those bylaws and agreements and covenants. And it's not my first rodeo, and I've seen a lot of loopholes over the years. And I know when Pandora's box gets opened, it's very difficult to close it. So this is a precedent, whether people want to think it's a special use there's always a special this or a special that or a special something else. And once that snowball gets rolling, you can't stop it. Naturally, if it were me, I'm not gonna come in here and point out the things that are wrong with what I'm proposing. I'm gonna point out, I wanna sell it to you. I wanna point out that it's not going to have any adverse effects. And again, once we start this, it's almost impossible to stop it. And I know we're talking about, well, I don't know, but we all take each other for good people. And I was one of the ones turned away, by the way, the other night. Even though I tried to get in, even though it said we're full up. In 10 years.
You can have 6 minutes, Paul.
Okay, well, 10 years, I think it shows the weight of this, and I think it's more out of concern from the residents who've spent their lives here and look to spend the rest of their lives here, that everybody vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Shepard.
Close enough. Thanks, man.
Okay, how about Rick? We have Rick. All right, thank you, Rick.
You didn't pronounce my
I
last.
can try.
It's easy. It's easy. That's it. Anyways, thank you for your time. I too appreciate all the back and forth, you know, people are for things, people are against things, that's what America is, and so appreciate your work that you guys are doing. A good friend of mine sent an email, and he was one of the dissenters in the group. He's my neighbor, good friend, and he's the superintendent of the road district out here. He referred to Shepherd's Canyon being a KLO, and we've had talk about that, and I think everybody understands that this is not gonna be a KLO. Because if you compare Shepherd's Canyon retreat to Kalo, that's like wolves and sheep. You know, Kalo people are injured individuals that need serious help, but they are destructive. They break out of their places and then they go over to the maintenance building, they cause damage. And that's why my friend Jerry is more opposed to this. And he hasn't had a chance to talk to me, he goes in South Texas. So I just wanted to make that point clear. On Monday night, there was a gentleman by the name of Ike, I believe his name was, and there was discussion between he and the board that talked about this request and whether or not it could be done or not. And I stood here and said, it is possible. There's nothing in the restrictions that pull this away. And so I just wanted to make that point as well. And then something else that here, and maybe this is the way the government runs here. I'm not sure, and I'm not making a complaint. But the other night, it was overwhelming, the number of people that were supporting this organization. 17 emails were read, and 11 of them were in favor of it. 7 or 6 were not. It's almost a 2-to-1 margin. If you look at the straw poll, there was a straw poll done as well. Now, I'm going to claim on my side, Angie, that there were like 6, in fact, I know 6 people that I knew were yes votes that left early because they had family obligations at home. And even that straw poll, it was a yes. Closer, but yes. But then there was a vote amongst the board that voted no, and we didn't get an explanation. And that's what I was, frustrated with. And so, to me, our Constitution was built on government doing the will of the people. And in this situation, in my opinion, the will of the people were not quite listened to the other night. So I'm asking you guys to do that. Couple options. Hopefully you would vote to say this is okay to do a special request. The other option is let the people talk. On April 17th, there is a special election. And I spoke with Roland Todd, and he said it's still okay to get that on the ballot. Has to be done tonight. You guys have to agree to it tonight and have the wording that would go on the ballot done tonight.
but it could be done. And that would be a true reflection of what the village wants done. I would say approve it. This is a good cause. But if you really want to vote people, there's another option. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. John. Move on.
I didn't
Okay.
check it this week.
Okay, all right.
Just
thank you.
resident.
Nathan Strickland.
Thank you for allowing me to come up here to speak. My first question is, where do you, I haven't gotten anything in the mail or anything about these meetings. Where do I go to see these meetings?
You talking about the regular trustees meeting?
Yeah, just the meetings that you said was
Tuesday of
Wednesday.
Wednesday of every month.
second Wednesday of every month.
Well, and planning and zoning meetings are posted on our website. Also, what we're gonna try to do, I'm thinking of doing this, I pass it by the trustees. Is maybe get into where the POA, we can tell them in advance, and they can send out an email blast or however they do that to notify all the residents.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that we can maybe accomplish that so people get to know more. Communication in this area is very hard to communicate.
Yeah, I always read POA letters and see what's going on and stuff, so if you guys were able to just put something in there. Because I found out about this meeting on Nextdoor, yeah, so, and then went from there. Another thing that I thought of also from Monday night, that was on the 11 restrictions. That you guys couldn't buy any more property, all right? What if property was given to them? Does that go under them buying property also? You're saying if they can't buy property, they can't expand, but if property is given to them, they're able to expand. So that's just one of my concerns also. And then the thing with the Caleb, kids always breaking out, doing damage or whatever. But I know there's neighbors around there that walk their kids and do other things. And if you do your research and study, and a lot of times adults do just as much damage as kids sometimes. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to be judgmental or anything like that, but how many times do adults do things to kids? I'm not trying to be messed up in the head or anything like that, but honest, if you look on the internet, a lot of times people in the ministry, that you're helping people with those things.
No, that's not.
Well,
You're not allowed that.
Look, okay, but there are pastors and stuff that you read reports on stuff like that. They may not say that to you.
They go elsewhere.
Okay, well, I'm just stating my point. And I feel sorry, I feel for the neighbors that walk their kids, because they don't know who's coming and going, and that is just I just wanted to voice my opinion, and I vote no on this also.
Thank you, Nathan. Carol.
Yeah. I believe that actually Mary covered the majority of the email. I guess if I were to say something, I would say, that absolutely, as far as I think that when you have so many people that have shown interest in this. The other reason why I found out, my husband found out, and I would say that we're pretty in tune with reading the newsletter, was one dear neighbor. And when you have people that were unable to get through the door, no matter what side you're on, that's where it's up to you guys to go, okay, we need more time. Or, the other thing I would say that I heard on Monday night numerous times was the word evolution when it comes to what they're creating. And to me, when you're presenting the company, especially for a special use permit, it shouldn't be an evolution. It should be, this is what it's gonna be. Sorry, I'm nervous talking in front of the crowd. Huh? If I pass that, to work. It's happening. That's just my 2 cents and then the email that I sent, so. It's worrisome as far as when you hear the word evolution when it comes to something being granted in your neighborhood that's still evolving, and I've heard different numbers from March to different ideas, different theologies when it comes to the whole idea. So, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Can I make one comment? Is that all right? It's for you, Daniel. I know I've been a trustee for several terms, and for years, I've been trying to get an email list of residents, which we do not, people just don't volunteer that information. Danielle has been trying to put a list together, because every once in a while we send out the little village voice that tells you things are going on, well, we have to mail them, and that is very expensive. I would like to recommend that before everybody leave or email Danielle tomorrow, and some obviously you're gonna have it for some of the comments that were written in. Your email address and ask to be added to our email, and then we'll send out notices. If we have, we send out usually a notice at the beginning of the year as to what dates our trustees meetings are. So.
May I also add, on our website, there is a link for signing up for information, and that would be things like a special use meeting or a newsletter that's going out, if you want that in email form opposed to paper
But isn't
form.
there some kind of verbiage, like so many feet is you're only obligated to let those neighbors know?
But that's what I'm saying, if
It's
we
still
had the
outdated
email
because
list, it
lots
could go to the village, it could go to everybody in the village.
Yeah, that makes no sense, as far as 185 feet isn't looking out for the whole, in my opinion. Because most of the lots, especially in that area, are minimum a half acre.
It's
very long.
Is it, so you can't change it, you change other things because of the association, don't we?
I like several things. Not all of this, but, and I give a list of legislators every year from my desk, suggesting what they change, and
Okay.
some of them bite and some of them don't, but
Right.
that's a bigger hill that I need to climb, and unfortunately, we can't change that, that's what the mandate is. As to the ballotized issue, it's gonna cost about $5,000 to get it on ballot. Every time they run for election, or every time we have something that's ballotized, unfortunately, it's an expense to the village, so. That's just not.
It wasn't too expensive, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, call Roland back and ask. Danielle can give you more specifics, but it's north of 4, just to put anything on the ballot. So.
I just asked Danielle something so her life doesn't become miserable.
What's that?
So, okay, so right now on your website, if someone goes on, there's like a little pop-up or a form and people can sign up, give their email, and then all future like notifications, like something like this, special hearings would email to them, right?
Yeah, for example,
Okay.
if you guys go in there and sign up to receive agendas or meeting notices or something, every time I would go and put, like for this meeting, I go and put the agenda on the website. When I do that, I can select send out and it'll go to everybody on that email list.
Okay.
But we have to compile that first because
So-
we are separate from the POA, so we don't have that information. We can
So-
get it, we just don't have it.
So if someone on that guest whatever app thing, they told the community it was there and here's the link, then they could just do it. That doesn't make their life up.
It all comes to me, it won't make it easier or.
It's all automatic. but-
Yep, and it all comes to my email, so it's perfect. And if you want, I can send you the link. So that way it can be shared.
Okay, let's move on with Mr. Barber. He was the chairman of the P and Z meeting on Monday. So I'd like to just get his presentation and recommendation that he has from the P and Z.
Thank you, Dave. And first, I want to echo some things you said as far as crowd participation. That's something I'm very supportive of, is seeing our residents out and speaking their minds. And it doesn't matter whether you're on one side or the other. It really doesn't matter. I didn't like that we had to turn people away, and it's been said, this is the first time that I'm aware of that we've had to turn anyone away because of, crowds. So I have a report, as part of my job as chairman, that we have to prepare a finding of facts and recommendation. So The findings of fact and recommendations, Village of Four Seasons Planning and Zoning Commission, January 12th, 2026 public hearing. The Village of Four Seasons Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on January 12th, 2026 to consider an application from Shepherd's Canyon Retreat Incorporated, which is requesting a special use permit be granted for a single family home located at 270 Veronica Lane. The special use permit is being requested to allow Shepherd's Canyon Incorporated to conduct week-long intensive counseling retreats for pastors, missionaries, and other industry leaders. The home is located in the area zoned for R1 single-family residential use. Upon roll call of the members of the commission, there were sufficient members in attendance to conduct the hearing. Village staff stated that proper and timely public notice of the hearing was given in accordance with section 32-176 of the Village of Four Seasons Planning and Zoning Ordinance. Prior to the public hearing, the village received email and written correspondence from approximately 17 individuals related to the special use permit request. The 11 people that submitted written correspondence were in favor of the special use permit, with 6 individuals opposed. 4 of those that stated that they support the special use permit did not list any reasonable basis for their support. All 17 pieces of written correspondence, along with an email from the applicant with his responses to social media posts on Nextdoor, were read into the record. The applicant and the representatives made a presentation regarding the plans for the home at 270 Veronica Lane if the special use permit is approved. Specifically, a pastoral couple will reside in the home year-round and will be visiting churches in the Midwest to promote the church. During the year, the pastoral couple will use the home to host 6 week-long intensive counseling retreats for pastors, missionaries, and other church leaders. Attendance for each retreat will be limited to 4 individuals and their spouses for a maximum of 8 attendees. The intensive counseling will be conducted by 2 counselors, 1 male, 1 female, and a chaplain. The counselors and chaplain will stay at an off-site lodging facility. During the public hearing, the public was provided with the opportunity to address the commission regarding this application. The commission heard from approximately 12 individuals during the public comment period. 6 of those that spoke during the hearing were in favor of the special use permit, 5 were opposed, and 1 did not express an opinion either way. There were 5 individuals that reside around or near Treeline Lake, where the subject property is located, that provided written or verbal comments to the commission on this matter. All 5 were unanimously opposed to the issuance of the special use permit. Those supporting issuance of the special use permit listed the following general reasons for their support. Shepherd's Canyon Retreat is a reputable organization that provides needed service to church leaders. Attendees of these retreats will pose less problems than those associated with typical Lake area tourists. Those opposing issuance of a special use permit listed the following general reasons for their opposition. Do not want a business or commercial venture operating within an area zoned for R1 single family residential use. Second one, approval of the second special use permit would set a dangerous precedent that could negatively impact the residential neighborhoods in the future. Proposed use of the property does not conform to the requirements in the village's planning and zoning ordinance. Specifically, the proposal does not meet the requirements spelled out in section 32-113 regarding home occupations. And finally, does not conform to the planned subdivision community concept that developers envision when planning this area. Several stated they moved to this area specifically because of the protection provided by zoning regulations and the POA's restricted covenants. Questions were asked by the members of the commission as well as those in attendance. Prior to the commission voting on the matter, a straw poll was conducted amongst the village residents and property owners that were in attendance at the public hearing. The results of the straw poll were as follows. 13 people were in favor of the special use permit request, and 11 were opposed to the special use permit request. The commissioners recommend a couple of changes to the conditions outlined in the staff report prepared by the village's building inspector. The recommended changes include the following. 1, the number of retreats shall not exceed 6 events per year. So we struck the word approximately, was stricken from the second recommendation in the staff report. And the second change with the special use permit, if approved, should include a prohibition against acquiring more property to expand this site. After discussion was held amongst the commission members, a vote was taken with consideration of the requirements found in section 32-177 subsection F of the Village of Four Seasons Planning and Zoning Ordinance. A motion and second was made to recommend approval of the requested special use permit for 270 Veronica Lane, and that the revised list of conditions be made part of the permit. The vote to recommend approval of the special use permit failed, with 2 commissioners voting in favor and 3 commissioners voting in opposition. Therefore, the Village of Four Seasons Planning and Zoning Commission does not recommend approval of this special use permit for 270 Veronica Lane. By order of the chairperson of the Village of Four Seasons Planning and Zoning Commission, Darrell Barber, chairperson. Any questions for me?
Just one correction is that there was somebody who wrote an email that was really close to Rick Andrew. It is the
316 Avenue.
316 Avenue.
Okay, I missed that one, if that is the case.
And it was also
Are you asking your findings of fact and recommendations be entered as part of the record of the next meeting?
I am.
Okay, that's it. Carol, thank you. First of all, I thank your group, the PNC group, and I thank you for sharing. It's a tough place to be. I appreciate your time, appreciate the group that was put together and everything that you've done for the village here. Look at it good. Thank you for that. I'm gonna give each side, he can change this up just a second. I'm gonna give each side, whoever gun you wanna pick out, guns. I don't mean that. Whoever you would like to have chat, you got 2 minutes to chat, okay? On both sides, one person, that's it, and then we will go into voting. Does anybody, would you like to make a comment on your side? Okay.
I didn't get my 5 minutes. I was part of the team.
I was only going off of the names I had now.
Thank you to the trustees for considering our special use permit applications. I just wanted to take a little time to explain, just to allay worries. Our Arizona site is 14 acres, but we only have 8 bedrooms. We only take up to 8 guests at a time. And then the therapists and the chaplains stay there on site, which would be different here because we only have less rooms. So we have people starting there today or yesterday, and these are just your community leaders. They're just wonderful people that just need that support. So you've heard somewhat about that. I know not everybody was here Monday night, but I'll mention Monday night we met with the planning and zoning committee and presented our case. Public support was quite overwhelming, both the straw poll and emails received in favor of accepting the permit. The initial vote by the committee was a tie. And then we somehow got off topic on the topic of roomers and boarders, which doesn't apply to us at all. The definition of roomers and boarders is that they're long-term renters staying for months in a home. And we're not requesting this in any way because we are not applying under home occupations. Instead, we're requesting approval for a special use permit as is presented in the village document section 32-37 and section 32-178. The planning and zoning board did not provide any reasoning for their decision. So it's up to the trustees. Now as we've been discussing this and I've been looking over that, the documents and ordinances, I'm wondering, question, how long ago was it that these examples of approved special use permits have been on the books? I mean, maybe years. It's amazing to me how perfectly our proposed use fits within section G, which reads, a special use permit may be granted for churches, convents, rectories, or similar religious organizations. It's listed right in the zoning ordinance. It's perfect. I can refer you to the IRS publication.
Just to be clear, we're We're at 2:15 right there. So
Well, am I home in 5 minutes?
we were supposed to, I thought, to speak beforehand, but.
Oh.
We'll give you another minute, please. I mean, we could be here for a long time. It's a big vote. And we still have a lot of stuff to still accomplish this evening, so.
Well, I'll show you the IRS definition of, parsonage and rectory. They are used interchangeably to refer to a home that is owned by a church or religious organization, which is what Shepherd's Canyon is, and provided to a qualified minister as part of their compensation. So, parsonage is covered. Shepherd's Canyon is a recognized service organization of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, which has been serving people in Missouri since 1847. A pastor and his wife live in the home. This home will continue as a home and it won't look any different. The reason we have been offered some extra lots, and like we said, we didn't have any money for it. It was just to keep it a wooded lot, which I think the neighbors would like too. So we are not intending at all to build this into a 14-acre thing. That's just what it was in Arizona when we got it. So this is.
I apologize, but really, we need to close it out. We need to move on. Okay, I'm sorry. I appreciate you speaking. Would anybody, do you have a spokesperson from the other side that would, prefer to say one last thing, anything to add to what you've said before? You can speak again, if you've already spoke.
I'll speak again. Everybody's pointing at me, so. All right, well, just real quick, just to reiterate everything. It's not about the good work. It's all about what's right for Four Seasons neighborhood. And what's the best for the people that live. That's what this is about. And I think that really needs to be the focus on decision making. As you can tell, I'm way up for it because I'm concerned about changes that could continue all their things, but also, I'm also sure that whatever happens, whatever decision you make, we're still gonna be okay. Okay? The sun's gonna rise in the morning, it's gonna set tomorrow night. But there again, though, I just think, please try to keep emotion out of it and keep facts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Board, is there any other discussions, any other questions?
Yes, of course. I'm the question lady. I haven't read that. Question I have, Reverend Kevin. You guys in the P and Z committee meeting mentioned that these are just like 4 pastors and their wives possibly coming. I happened to go on your site, came across one of your newsletters, in summer of 2025. There's an article in here about a gentleman that is a head of maintenance. I'm guessing at for Arizona location. So if you're telling me that you're just having pastors and wives and you help this gentleman with his issue that he had, he's not a pastor and he's not a clergyman. So how does this fall in, him just being a head of the maintenance department and you guys serving him, which is great, but that's not what you were saying the other day, that was just pastors and clergymen. Yes, I'm assuming because he's head of maintenance, so that's, I'm assuming.
Yes, he's worked for us for 11 years. He spent 18 years in prison.
Yeah.
And he's been completely rehabilitated. I have so much respect for him. He's the most gentle, passionate person that I know. And so, yeah, he has nothing to do with the retreats. He's not even involved.
Okay, so he didn't go through the retreat?
No.
Okay, I figured that was in your article, your newsletter. That
It was
he
just a
was-
highlight of one of our employees.
Okay, so I was just curious, because it's pastor.
No, he
Yes,
just
okay, I didn't know if you were actually extending it to employees also
No,
of
no.
it, okay.
But to clarify a little bit more, because there's some confusion. We mainly talk about pastors because that's what most people are in town. We also serve missionaries and other, worship leaders and other people, just to keep it simple. We were just talking about pastors, but we do serve a wide variety of people there in full-time Christian ministry.
Yeah, I took it on your website that you did mention, pastors and worship leaders, but it seemed like everything you mentioned pretty much are your leader, their key people, and then when it was like an employee maintenance guy, I just thought, okay, when
Yeah.
this is throwing.
Completely separate.
Okay. Okay. That's the question now, yeah.
Is that it? All right.
Kevin,
Yeah.
I'll see some of some questions.
Okay, sure.
By the way, I hope we are at the end point, I hope we're at the same.
Yes, I
I
have
hope
one
we're,
question for you.
I hope we're at the same point one of these days, you may both passed on. Licensed therapists or professionals, you don't have any people on staff, these would be people from the outside that would come into the home and service these people.
Correct. We have 9 people from across the country that are licensed therapists or whatever, they have a bunch of letters behind their name and they come in and they are part of our counseling team. There's,
And do these people administer medications, do they have prescriptions and do your people that are at the retreat, are they receiving?
no, we only have one that's a licensed psychologist that does medication, but that's not part of what we do.
Okay, so no medication distributed in the residence, okay.
No, that's outside of our scope.
And then you do have some fees exchanged or some monies exchanged, you might call them donations, but monies have to be exchanged in order to keep your doors open, is that correct?
So you can take a look at our website, which you probably can't even find it because it's not even, it's only what we share with our, but basically,
Kevin,
if you want, I can read this right.
we've all stared at it for 6 months, I'm sure we've all seen everything that you got out there. So
Okay.
whatever you got,
Have you
you've
seen
seen
this
it.
page? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the question?
My understanding is that whether the individuals pay or something, whether the churches pay, it's a fee-based ministry, is that correct?
The best way to describe it is to say that that we do not charge them for anything. But if their church or denomination or others want to assist with the cost of their retreat, our cost of what it costs them, they're suggested contributions, but they're not obligated to pay. We have people come in all the time for food, all the time. Almost no one ever pays out of their own pocket. It's always either maybe a church that wants to support us because we're helping their church, pastor.
Sure, so it's looked upon as almost an employee benefit from the church that hosts these people, or that employs these people.
Employee benefit, but
The church would either sponsor them or pay any fees for their therapy or for their retreat.
it's completely optional. It's kind of like if you go to a potluck and they say free will offering and the basket's there, some people will throw something in, some people throw a 20. It's completely optional.
I'm not trying to be a bad guy.
No, it's fine.
Let's debate this for a moment.
No, go ahead.
If I go to your church and I ask for a love offering, because that's gonna pay for my gas and travel expenses coming home.
Okay.
That's a money exchange, correct? We can call it a love offering, we can call it a donation, or we can call it whatever you want, but there's some money being exchanged in order to cover the overhead.
I don't really know the definition. Maybe I could get some help over here.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No.
If these people, if there's no monies exchanged whatsoever, would you be able to keep your doors open?
So, well, correct. I mean, the thing is that 90% of the donations and grants that come in cover people in general. There's very little that directly supports any specific person, other than some denominations have policies that say that they want to support us because we support their church. And then some churches will say, hey, we appreciate what you're doing for our pastor. We want to help cover, some of your costs, our costs, because we don't charge them. It's completely, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if the exchange monies were exchanged, and then you would understand you'd probably be subject to a business license in order to do this activity there?
Where do the monies get exchanged at? Do they pay when they come to the meeting, or do they?
Some people will make a donation when they come, if they do, but very few people do that.
Do some do it beforehand or after?
No individual gives us money except in rare cases. It's usually a church or a denomination that sends us money. But again,
We're not saying the door collecting money.
no, we're not standing at the door collecting money.
Does the churches that do donate to support attendee or whatever you call them, does the church give you money ahead of time, donate money ahead, or they just donate money at some time, the church, and it just happens to cover?
It's a variety of ways. There's, what it costs us is $10,000 per person. And we're trying to lower that cost by having a new model of being in small homes as opposed to, or large homes, in perspective, instead of a resort area, because that's very expensive. It costs us $2,000 a month just in the electric bill.
Kevin, I'm not trying to compromise your trade practice, but
No.
how do you come up with $10,000 and where are the
So-
expenses paid?
Everything we do is for this ministry. We don't have any little side businesses or side ministries. If you take what is spent in our budget, and our budget, if you've been looking at the 990 and all that kind of stuff, which I know you do. Our budget is typically less than $1 million, like 850 sometimes, 900,000. I think next year it's about 900. I don't know what it is right now off the top of my head. Take that, divide it by the number of people we serve. The most people we've served in the last couple of years, 1 year we served 75 people. So you take 900,000 divided by 75 people, and that's easy math. It's more than 10,000 per person.
It's my understanding the typical retreat is like about two weeks, is that what I read?
And it's 1 week.
Week?
Yeah.
Okay, so the average daily expense to you is exceeds over $1,000 a day. Where's that $1,000? What is it spent on?
Okay, sure. For one thing, it's the entire ministry. So in other words, my salary, Tom's salary, we have 10 people on staff. We've got the guy that was in the newsletter. He gets paid. And that's part of the problem with having a 14-acre resort is you gotta pay all these staff. We have two full-time maintenance people. We have a hospitality person, a site director, all these people that are working on the site for things that we won't be having those expenses here locally. We would hire local contractors to come in and make repairs.
So in addition, let me stop you there. So in addition to you and Tom, and am I pronouncing that right, Tom?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in addition to you and Tom, there are 2 maintenance people, a hospitality director. Who else? How many other people are in this residence?
Let's see, help me out.
Oh, make that clear.
That's the Arizona side. Okay, this is a national, like Arizona and
Well, let's focus on your residence here.
on the residents. Here, it's just that pastor's couple that'll stay here for free at no cost. And then whatever people come in for, so 6 times a year, we'll have, like the therapist come in for a week and then they leave. We'll have a chaplain come in and he leaves. And then any other maintenance or everything has to be done or managed by the person living on site. They would call the local contractor, say, hey, I need my plumbing done on that kind of stuff. So there's no staff at all locally. It's all to be hired out, contracted out, I should say.
It's a pastor who literally just invites other pastors, to stay with them for a week at a time. And they'll have counselors come in for a few hours each day or several hours each day, but they leave at night. And they're not on staff. That's the expense. That's the meat and potatoes of the expense of this property because it's already paid for. So it's the.
And catering for food.
Right, the food, they pay for food.
We would go to
Barbecue, all the local.
Yeah. But there's a staff.
So
It won't, it won't.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Could I just, a couple quick comments, or things that haven't been heard before?
Sure.
I'll be very,
We can grant that, yes.
thank you. I probably should have been more focused on the ordinance and the legal aspects at Monday night's hearing, but it just didn't feel like that's really what the room wanted to do. People wanted to talk about, the various concerns, and Pastor Kevin was able to, address those. But I think the important thing to remember here is we have to follow the rules, right? We all follow the rules. And the ordinance allows special uses in section 2. Section G specifically allows a rectory and similar religious institutions. The ordinance also lists factors to consider in deciding whether to grant special use permit, and they include parking, exterior signage, The effect of the use on streets, utilities, traffic, shopping. There's no appreciable effect on any of those. There's no exterior signage. There's no need for off-site parking. It'll all be in the driveway or in the garage. This use is very compatible with the surrounding uses. And there's there's a category for this special use. We believe we've addressed every concern that's been raised. We've agreed to the staff restrictions. And it was Pastor Kevin that volunteered the additional restriction that we agreed to not buy any more property, which is a no-brainer because those are the expansion plans. We have, this one is the Missouri. The plans to expand would be in other areas. So that's a no-brainer. It was easy to do. Anyway, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't point out the ordinance. So thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, that's it for our questions up here. Any other questions?
I just had something real quick.
Okay.
You know, in the statements to the village trustees in October 2024, you say they helped us make connections to the right people at the village and POA to make sure we were not violating any zoning rules. How did you come to that conclusion? And, you know, wouldn't you have gotten that straightened out before you actually bought the property?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to throw anybody under any bus at all, because you guys have great staff here. We spoke with them extensively about different things. We read the ordinances. I'm not a lawyer, so some of that kind of gets past me here. I remember last year Todd said that the biggest problem was the 20% thing, and the only way to resolve that is the special use, and so that's why we're here. You know, if that's gonna curb us from doing it today, I wish I would have known that back in March, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, I would think, yeah, you would have probably got that straightened out beforehand, but anyway,
Yeah.
water goes the bridge.
What's that?
You had the right house.
We were, yeah, it was a very short time to.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is that it? Ron, did you have?
that's all I had.
Okay, Counselor, Miller, I have a question on, possibly returning, the chair back over to Tony for this particular vote. It's a big vote. I want to make sure everybody's, accounted for. Can Tony, Chairman Baldridge vote online? You can see his little happy face. Does he need to be in charge of this particular part for the vote so that we can, there's,
So Chairperson Baldridge can vote. We need to see his mouth move and we need to see his face while he's making his vote.
Tony, can I see your mouth?
Okay, my mouth's moving right now.
All right.
Thanks for signing with me. I'm stuck with it because you're here and.
I'm okay, stuck here. I just want to be sure that I'm doing parliamentary procedure, what little bit I know of it.
So I got a question. Some of the people mentioned that on the P and Z committee meeting, that the no vote was there, but they didn't know why. So should we, if we want to provide a reason why we vote the way we vote, that we say that, do we do that before we vote, or we do it when we vote, or how does that work? I mean,
I would say if you feel like you want to say a little, if you feel like you want to say a little piece of how you want to vote one way or the other, you can with, you know, keep it below 5 minutes. If you could.
So.
But again, you know.
Since you have to do this, no, you don't have to explain your vote. You actually vote. So if you want to give a narrative and share with people why you're doing this, that's your personal prerogative.
Okay. So at this particular time, I will open up the board for any motions to be made on how we'd like to proceed with this.
Okay. Well, I will move that the village board accept the recommendation of the planning and zoning committee and deny the application of a special use permit as presented.
Okay.
Yeah. And do I have to not be second?
We haven't got a second yet.
I'll second that.
Okay, Ron's got a second on that. Danielle, will you read that exactly how that was so that we can be totally clear on what the vote is?
Just a reminder, Mr. Badu, you're now asking for a discussion. We can do that on motion, second on the table.
Okay.
Is there further discussion from the trustees?
Oh, no.
I'm going to be nice to you. Nice to you people to explain why I'm vote the way I want to vote.
We're not ready to vote.
Okay.
We're not- I'm sorry,
Oh, okay. So
Action.
then we're not ready.
Now is the first time. This is the discussion on the motion. If you want to discuss the
Okay.
motion,
Thank
it's
you.
on the table.
Okay.
It's been made and seconded. You can certainly do that.
I love what you're doing. Good cause and everything. This was a very hard decision for me to make. But, I'm not for it, and the reason why I'm not is because, it conflicts with our comprehensive plan, which is mainly single residential. What you're doing, because there's like counseling provided, a service provided to people. I feel that presents more like maybe a business type of situation, and because there is money in some way, whether it's a donation or whatever, to cover the expenses of your licensed therapist and stuff. So there is some of that in my viewpoint. Also, I feel that you're using more of your house, 20%, more than 20%, so that to me falls under more of a business viewpoint. Also on our comprehensive plan, it states that we're supposed to, trustees are supposed to protect protect our whole community from incompatible land use. And I think it's providing the service to these people is different than somebody family inviting guests over, because they're just guests, they're not getting any service, no therapy or anything, they're just there. It also says that we should reinforce established residential patterns rather than introduce uses that undermine long-term planning objectives. And I feel that this may, as some people have said, I personally feel too, this may open up other things that could occur, special use requests. I know it's case by case, but I just feel down the way, there's gonna be, you prove this person, you don't prove this person, there's gonna be a big, lawsuit, things happening. So I feel that, and then I also, feel that the majority of the people in that direct immediate neighborhood oppose it. And for me, from my viewpoint, that's the people who really matter, because who lives across the street, I mean, where I live, I'm not close to this neighborhood. So I don't know, but if that's what they feel like, I feel like I'd like to honor their request of that, so that's where I stand on mine.
Okay, so, again, I think I need to get back to. I think we're ready to vote. Does everybody understand the vote? Everybody understand which yea or nay goes, okay? So I think we've already heard from Anita, but again, Danielle, you'll need to, call out everybody's name so that it can be heard clearly on each trustee.
Let's produce a
Yes.
simple roll call vote.
Thank you.
Do you want me to reiterate what she said? I know you had asked that before. Do you want me to still do that?
Please, yes, reiterate what that motion was, yes.
I have that, Mrs. Rock said that she made a motion to accept the recommendation of the P and Z board and to deny the permit as it's submitted. Does that seem correct, Luann?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
So roll call vote, Ron Weiss,
Begins the fact that 5 people that live close to this operation, and I feel like those are the people that we're supposed to be here to represent our constituents. I'm gonna vote yay on that proposal, that we deny it because of the fact that the P and Z board didn't recommend it, so.
Luann Ruck,
After sitting in this meeting twice, I was really struck by, this is not an emotional issue. It is based on the way the ordinances are written, and I too will accept yes for what the P and Z committee recommended.
Renita Jones,
Yes.
Tony Baldridge.
So my vote is yes, and I do support the board so far, what I'm hearing, and also the P and Z. I know this is hard for everybody to come to an answer, but I think what we are moving forward on is the best right now for the village. And I echo what Ron said. I know we had a lot of people in, but the residents that are close by are seeing the ones that we really need to listen to. But I think you still got to take that out of it. And as Luann said, let's take the emotions out of it. I know it's hard.
Dave, for you?
My vote is also yes. I wish it wasn't coming down to this. I hope that you can find another piece of property someplace else possibly. It's a great cause. I hope the best for you on that. At this particular here in the village right now, this is the vote that I also cast. It's go along with it. See, thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, that's been a long drug out part to it. Thank you all, both sides for being here. Going through this, it's an emotional thing, I don't want to be in the emotional part, but it's tough. And it's not fun, but thank you all for hearing it. Like somebody said, we're all on this world together. And let's keep it that way, and we will, so thank you all for being here. Yeah, this would be the time, if you wanna hang around, hang around. If you don't, this would be a good time to go, thank you. Thank you.
Send them your way.
Yeah. Next on the agenda.
Okay, next on the agenda, yes. Let's go into the reports. Tony Baldridge, can you have a report on your side?
Dave, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Send the discussion out. Send the discussion out. If they want to talk, send them out.
Yes, Daryl, can you close those? I'll try to be a little more quiet. Okay, all right, next order of business. All right, here's my report. I really don't have anything. I don't think we need to really read much about the building permits and that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna go into that tonight. Jimmy, do you have a report that you can give us, please? I think we'd be much more interested in that.
No, I've just got a short report. Basically, December was a normal December. There's roughly 154 calls out here, 13 arrests. Basically, there was 5 motor vehicle crashes, 3 emotionally disturbed persons calls. There's like 3 domestic calls, 2 sexual assault calls, and there was 4 DWI. Other than that, there was nothing really that stood out too much like normal.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Sheriff's Department? Okay, that's it. Let's go, Ron. Gardens and parks.
No, we're gonna talk about some of that stuff, unfinished business, so.
Okay, who's in rock? Finances.
Okay, we did not include an ARPA report, I believe, because basically we've spent, almost all our money we had, that we received from the government. At the end of the year, we had $3,800 in our check and our account. Handrails were completed for the pedestrian trails for safety, and we used up $1,814.35 to pay for the handrails out of the ARPA funds. That leaves us just a little under $2,000 to apply to Trillium, as far as putting this on. And then we will spend 100% of our funds, all of it's legal and legit, so good. Second thing is the budget versus actual. We received more income from all 3 funds than what we had budgeted. And the total income was $29,404.96 higher than what I had projected and budgeted. Expenses in every category in all three funds was below what was budgeted by $122,000, which gives us a net income compared to budget of $151,774.13. I can't get on for some reason the bill or the state website, but Danielle got the letter that says that they will be depositing $17,000.84 into our general fund from sales tax for the month of December. And they will be depositing $8,542.13 into the capital fund. So we do have some money that's already started coming in this based on sales tax. When you compare last year to this year, the total income was higher than last year by $39,000. However, our expenses were a lot higher, and that is because we did the pavilion, we did the pickleball courts, the parking area for the pickleball courts. And the pavilion we budgeted for, it was just never, it wasn't included in the year force. Expenses because it wasn't there. And for the last 3 years, we've been using ARPA funds on most of our capital expenditures. So it all makes sense. And next year, we're all set up with our this year, 2026 budget. All I have to say.
Move in.
Next thing will be our audit in May.
And Renita, please.
Yes, I have, 2 items, emergency management. We, the small generator downstairs, we had to replace the full rope on it because it got broken. So I took to Motor Hut and had them, just fix that and then just a whole overview and tune up on the whole generator. So it's perfect shape, blah, blah, blah. So that's going. Good. We're gonna start every 3 months. We'll, emergency management call and I will run it every so often. The large generator out here, since we don't know when the last time it was run or stuff. I did get a hold of, I asked Kevin Luttrell from Road District. He said it's been a long time since he's done anything with it, and usually it was just to fill it with gas. Asked him who he thought could work on it. He gave me a name of Rush Trucking in Jefferson City, Missouri. Called that guy up and got a pricing on, what it costs for them to come down here and then to work on it. So I guess that's one of the things I will need to see if it's okay for me to proceed. It's $150 an hour for his travel time. And then it's $215 per hour to work on it, which would be the engine part. He figures it'll be, and since it's an initial check over, it'll be probably about 4 hours, because that's the reason I have to drain the tank. So with that pricing, it looks like his initial visit would be about $1,010 if it stays within that 4-hour period. So I think that's probably an important thing for the village because it's a generator, so we can, electricity goes out, we can do some procedures and we can keep this running, electric coming here. So, can I proceed with?
Yeah, it's in your budget.
Can I jump in on this real quick?
Yes.
I think you could buy a new one for under 1,000 right at that. That's quite a few kilowatts. If you go to Harbor Freight, I just bought one for the Hope House. It was a very, very big unit, and I think I only spent like $800 or $900 on it. So would you be open to looking at some prices for a new one and compare that price to this repair price?
Yes, okay, I will do that. You want me to check to see what, the size this one is, to see what would work, or have
If
them-
you if you send me that information, I'll go out on Harbor Freight and see what they have and share with you.
Okay.
Is this the generator that runs the building?
Yeah, that's a big one out there.
And yeah, the big one. Is that what
You're talking about a portable generator.
No.
No, I'm talking about this big one outside.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have
I
hooked
thought you were
up.
talking about my fault.
And I
No,
don't have,
that's
I don't have a
no, no,
number.
no, no. Forget
Okay.
what I said.
The road
Sorry.
district bought the road district bought a new one and they, of course, it's bigger than this one.
No, 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 no. I thought it was the one that was downstairs in the room that's not working.
No, we got that one fixed. I got that
Okay.
one fixed, so you can borrow it for Hope House if you need to. It's
Okay.
going. He has a pull cord on there.
I'm sorry, I'm
That-
sorry.
Can you use the microphone?
Just go,
Sorry.
just ignore my comment.
So would you want to go ahead and have them come in and do an initial check on it and see if it's worth?
Well, I mean, my opinion is, yeah, recommended them, they're gonna be good.
Yes.
Okay, number two, the price to me is probably very reasonable. And we have a budget set up for maintenance and repair of this
Okay.
building, and we haven't used the capital funds.
And when it comes out, when he checks it, if he sees there's a lot of repairs, then maybe I can get a pricing of
What?
a replacement would be, yeah, the repair or the new one.
Would it make sense to have that maintenance scheduled on an ongoing basis? I mean, you know,
Yeah, I
every
think
6
so.
months or something like that, you know, whatever they think
I think,
necessary.
I think in the future, I think that's another one that we need at least twice a year.
Okay, test it, make sure it's working.
Yes. I'm gonna be getting with Paul, he's out of town right now, but we're gonna set a schedule for running all these things on a regular time frame, so we know things are running properly. So they're ready to go when we need them. Okay,
Thanks, Renita. That's a big help.
The Authority of the Road District invested close to $50,000 for the addition.
yeah.
I would have somebody in $50 an hour look at it. And I would do a cost benefit analysis based upon the last time that thing kicked on, which I can't remember the last time it kicked on, so.
I can't. Okay, thank you. That's it for me, emergency
Okay.
management.
All right. Okay, thank you. We're off to unfinished business. Golf cart ordinance 26-01. This is another big, long topic. Let's see if we can put this one to rest and get wheels up on it. I'm not sure who's. Anita, is that?
Well, Ron and I was on it, kind of.
I know, you both kind of been working on it.
I could give you a little background on that. Over the last 10 years, golf cart topic, at least 3 times, 3 separate occasions, I drafted an ordinance for the village trustees to review, consider, and approve this the 3rd time around. I think we've written it as tightly and as well drafted as we possibly can. It's been considered by all the village trustees. It's been in your hands for several months. I would encourage the village trustees to entertain a motion tonight to approve that as written.
I just want to highlight some of the things that this does for us that we don't have today. One thing it does is it forces insurance validation. We don't know if these guys have insurance or not. What Todd and Danielle have been putting into this. The other one is a speed limit. Another one is an inspection. I mean, do the brakes work? Um, Stuff like that. Markers on the device to be able to see it better. Seat belts for under 12 years old. Right now, we don't have anything like that has safety for kids. So you can have a 5-year-old sitting in there and not be buckled in. We're forcing a valid driver's license. We do now have an opportunity for the sheriff to issue fines and violations, and we can put some meat in this if somebody starts misbehaving. Right now, they don't have a lot to go on other than please don't drive, or you're not doing very well. So those are the things that I saw in there that Todd helped us with, as well as Renita and Ron and everybody else that's worked on this.
So, do we have the ordinance? Is this something that we need to read or?
No, I think it was in final form, but yeah, final form.
Okay, so is this something then, council, please jump in. Help me out with the process of this to be exact, is this?
Ordinance by title only, read twice, and I would turn that mic over to Danielle. Ask her to perhaps entertain that. You should entertain a motion to have read first reading and then by title only.
Okay. All right, we have.
Oh. And I'm here again too, before the reading, I'd like to give my reason why I'm at. And do the way I vote. Because I want people to know why I'm voting, it's just a good understanding. Even though I worked on this golf court ordinance, I am not for golf carts on the highway, the roadways here, because I feel that we do not, the village is not, conducive to golf carts because of the hilly and curvy roads that we have out here and many large trucks, commercial trucks that go zipping around here. Concrete dump trucks. Of course, the speed, we all speed and sometimes more than we over, 10 miles over. A lot of these two vehicles that's on this ordinance, the golf carts and the LSVs, they're only made to go 20 or 25 miles an hour, and we're allowing them to go on a 35-mile-an-hour road with speeders that can go 10 miles over. So my fear is for the residents in the village of being injured, because we got curves and stuff. So I think, and you're gonna have a lot of people, it's gonna back up some traffic, people going, their golf carts going 20 miles an hour. So I think it's gonna create a lot of issues, but my main concern is the village people, residents, and the speed and the curvy roads, and so, I just think it's gonna be, I don't like it, and I don't wanna have conscience on my mind if somebody gets seriously injured, that I hopefully get so.
All right, thank you, Renita. Do we have a motion? Does anyone want to entertain a motion for that? Go for it, to be the ordinance.
Before we vote on it, right?
Before we vote on it, I'm sorry.
Well, I'll make a motion that it be read by title only. Is that correct? What I need to be doing first?
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have the village code.
Second for that.
Ordinance to be read by title.
I'll second it.
Okay, Danielle, can you read that, please? Title only.
Yep. Ordinance number 26-01, an ordinance of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, adding a new section to chapter 30, traffic and vehicles of the village code, regulating the operation, equipment, registration, and permitting of golf carts, low-speed vehicles, and similar vehicles on municipal streets.
Okay, thank you. I should have been listening to Chairman Baldridge a little more often for protocol on what the next order of business. Now we have to ask her to read that again, or do we have to vote on that, or? We have to vote.
Read it again, read by title again, motion.
Read by title again, please.
Motion.
Oh, we need a
Motion.
I'm sorry, we need a motion for that again.
So I make a motion that we read the ordinance by title only for a second time.
I'll second it.
Second, okay, Danielle, could you read that?
Just to clarify and correct the record, I heard a motion in the second. Did I hear any opposition to the original motion I had read by title only? Did that pass?
Yeah, I think.
All right, let's have a vote. Let's have a vote with respect to the second motion. But a motion in the second. Let's call the vote.
Aye.
Is that a name call?
No.
Okay,
Okay.
all in favor, say aye.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Do you want to do that for the second one, or do I do that after the read?
Just did that.
Just one, because
Because
they didn't do it for the first. All right, ordinance number 26-01, an ordinance of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, adding a new section to chapter 30, traffic and vehicles of the village code, regulating the operation, equipment, registration, and permitting of golf carts, low-speed vehicles, and similar vehicles on municipal streets.
And the ordinance is read by title, two occasions. The chairperson would entertain a motion now to approve.
Let me just throw one thing about Renita. I understand about the speed and all that, but keep in mind right now, there's nothing that we can enforce them to go under 35 miles an hour. This will force them and give the sheriffs an opportunity to put them at 20 miles an hour. But right now, they can run up and down the street 35 and be doing the speed limit.
Yeah, even at, But, even at 20 miles, I mean, even they're gonna go with speed, they're still gonna, a lot of them are gonna be going 20 miles an hour on 35, so, I hear you, probably.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it? Okay, so now can we move to voting on
Motion
the motion?
Yes, you're going to entertain a motion to the ordinance under.
No, entertain that motion.
You'll make the motion, you want me to? Make the motion.
It's confusing.
Okay, I forgot what we said.
What I understood Ms. Brooks' motion to read was that she made a motion to have bill number 26-01 approved by the trustees.
Right.
There's a second.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Any further discussion on this?
Okay, so we'll call Danielle, please.
Ron Weiss?
I just don't see how 20-mile-an-hour golf carts and 35 to 40-mile-an-hour dump trucks and cement trucks on hilly curvy roads are a good idea, so I don't know.
Luann Ruck?
I also vote no. My concern, is that I don't think people realize that you can only cross Horseshoe Bend at one location, and that is at a lodge. So it doesn't give you much movement. Okay, so my vote is also no.
Renita Jones?
Nope.
Tony Valdridge?
Yes.
Dave Purdue?
I'll go yes on it.
Okay.
So, the motion is not passed, we won't have the golf carts, the golf cart ordinance. So,
Is it, can I just ask if there's anything people would like changed in this to try to get something done tonight? Because like I said, we have nothing now to control golf carts in the village if we leave it the way it is. Is there some changes to the ordinance or any recommendation?
I'm gonna guess at this time, Tony, maybe it's not the right guess, but I think we're also spent right now on what the evening has gone through and what we've gone, what the groups have gone through to put this together, that this ordinance is just flat gone for now. Like, you know, not to say it isn't gonna bring it up again. As council said, it's been brought up many years, but maybe this is the end of it for now.
Yeah, nothing will change my mind only because of the speed of the slowness of the golf carts, the curvy roads. I just think it's a dangerous precedent would be setting for our community, and I'm just afraid of what can happen. I mean, I feel for the people who enjoy them. I mean, they can do it in their little neighborhood maybe, or if they, you know, but I just fear for safety is what I.
So I'm not sure the topic's over, Tony. I think it's over. I would maybe suggest that it's over for tonight, and it may be.
Well, I just want to thank Todd and Ron and Renita and Danielle for spending a lot of time on this. I mean, it's been going on for 3 or 4 years. That's a lot of work and a lot of time put into that. So
Yes.
just thank the group for working on it.
Yeah, I was open-minded enough to work on the ordinance because I thought if it does pass, at least I try to get some of the things in there and I could maybe help reduce.
Yes.
Exposure.
It might be more palatable if it, you know, if you kept them off Cherokee and Bittersweet, but I just, you know, that's an accident
All
that
right.
could happen.
It's been spoken. Okay, golf cart, let's go. Garden mulch, that's another unfinished business.
Yeah, well, this one I hope will be finished today.
Okay. Good.
So as mentioned, we were looking at replacing mulch with rocks over the years in our garden. We got an estimate, you got one in your hands here, of the welcome sign by the line of Four Seasons. That's in there to remove that, to also pull out some of the, keep the green bushes that are right up against the sign, because the boxwoods get rid of the other ones that are kind of scraggly or just don't look good. And then down the way, we're gonna have, you know, when spring comes, turn off to four of the sprinkler heads, because it's way too much sprinkling going on there, so that would save us money. So that's part of this estimate on here about doing that. The other part of this estimate is out here at the flagpole garden, where the curve is that goes along the parking lot. There's some nice already on flowers there, but they just don't stand out because they blend in with the mulch. So we think about changing the mulch and putting some gravel there, some rock there. We did get the pricing we got was of the one of the two choices we kind of selected, Danielle and me, and I kind of picked out as the light colored one, rock, and it is the one of the most expensive ones, but that's what this is quoted for right now. So it's like all the way around, curved like about 3/4 of that big curve, and it'll be 3 feet in to do it. I think it was off that flower there. So this is the estimate to do that.
Yeah.
So if you guys are good with it.
So, looking at the estimate,
I feel totally fine with the estimate, yes, knowing as much. If I know, yes, expenses within our subdivision, so I think it's a good price.
Would that, I do, yes. Would that be a motion then, Luann, that you would make to go ahead with that project?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to go ahead with that project.
Okay, is there a second for that?
I'll second it.
Okay. It's, and then, so, we can have a vote on that, Danielle, please,
Uh,
roll call.
a roll call vote?
Can somebody, I didn't quite hear what we're voting on. Can someone just repeat it?
We're voting on, the estimate to do some, mulch to rock replacement on the welcome sign, the green welcome sign by the lodge. And, do that, and then also here by the, flagpole garden. That garden is kind of curved along the parking lot, and there's some
Okay,
perennials there that just don't pop out, look, you don't even.
okay,
So we figured we'll put some, rock along there, that's edging 3 feet in, on that curved part of the, flower beds.
okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then beyond this, the plan is for a new sign up here, which, we've got some
Oh,
pictures
yeah.
of, and, we'll have lights shining on the sign, some pillars that hold the sign, and then, this grass, this tall grass here, that'll be gone, so you can see the sign.
Yeah, we're working on the driveway sign, that one driveway sign I was gonna do, two on either side of the driveway. Ron and I are working on it, we're coming down to just doing Luann's suggestion of just one larger sign perpendicular to Cherokee. And, so Ron and I are working on that, and we should maybe in March have something together.
But that's not included in this,
No.
this year. This is just to
Based on.
replace the mulch with rock and remove some of the plants and stuff like that.
Okay, all right, Danielle, could you give a roll on that, please?
Yep, Ron Weiss,
Yes.
Luann Ruck,
Yes.
Renita Jones,
Yes.
Tony Baldridge,
Yes,
Dave Purdue.
Yes. Okay, that's fast. That's it for the garden mulch. Next order of the unfinished business is the pedestrian trail handrails. That's why I thank you for coming in. I wanted to commend you and your group to get those in. I assume they're done. They look nice. Safety first, and I believe we've accomplished that. So the plan worked well.
Yes, I think the one that goes under the tunnel, there for the golf course, that one may have to be repainted, because it's faded out with the match the rest of them.
Oh, well.
It's like a gray color and the rest are bright black,
Yeah,
so.
that one's been there a little bit.
Yeah, this spring I got there with a rattle can
Okay,
and take care of
that
that.
sounds good. Thank you for that. That's works great.
Do we think we got all the locations that there was a concern about with just the 5?
I don't know, those were the 5
That-
locations
Kevin
that Kevin and Jeff McClary had picked out. I
I
will,
just drove by and it looked like there were a couple of other ones that
What-
might be in the same.
I walked from my house by the fire department, to the village hall, and there's some between here and there.
Yeah.
Along the stretch too, between here and Bittersweet, there's some that are kind of.
Yeah, they're kind of steep, so.
Okay, we can look at that again.
maybe look at them with the Kevin, and you
Yeah,
guys
and
can
see if
figure out if you want to add more.
Is it, I mean, they look very, very nice, and,
They really look nice.
and if there's a safety issue or,
Yeah.
or, I don't know what I wanna say, that they, they
Yeah.
encourage safety,
Yeah.
okay?
Safety
So
first.
might be one of the things we might wanna think about for this year.
Then I'm gonna move off to Trillium Park. Again, I thank you for coming in here to help me out on that. Where do we stand on the timeline for Trillium Park?
We now we're just, everything is done, all the prep work is sitting there, waiting for winter to be over with, and then the park equipment is in the garage downstairs. It will get hauled out, we'll get footings put in, and then the soft surface that we have out this park is also down in the garage, and it'll get installed this spring, and that whole park will be renovated and redone.
Good. Good. I'm glad the boat got out of there first before the house burned, because I'm afraid the boat would.
Yes, the boat was dangerous.
Okay, off to new business.
Before you go into the business, I walked in, they're in the garden
Yeah.
thing.
Yes, sir.
And Ron and Renita were heading this up, I believe.
Yes.
You both will not be here in April. because you are not running.
That's
I will not be taking over that job of making sure the rock is in, the sign is done. I will not. There have to be things in the village to do. So.
Well, that'll be done before April.
Yeah, and also I'm gonna.
Great, Ron, thank you.
And also I'm gonna present to trustees also that when I leave this position, I'd be happy to help work maybe something out to do a little bit more than just look at it to help decide what, because some of this stuff is just pure play, that would help you guys maybe reduce costs to the village, and we can talk about that later.
Okay, great, thanks, Lisa. New business. 2026 meeting schedule, we all have that in front of us. Mr. Baldridge, I assume you have it there with you. We were kind of talking about, maybe I missed it. Were we going to have a February meeting? So,
There was an email that was asked, email sent out about if we just wanted not to have a February or March and just jump to April. My feeling, because I am departing and so is Ron, and we're working on the garden and signage, that it'd be nice if we could have a March meeting, so we could at least present our findings and everything. So that if you don't vote on that at March, at least you'd have it maybe for April's thing. So I don't have a problem with not having February.
And I would probably think that maybe March, we should have one, just because April, you guys are out, new people are in, and I think we need that one last goodbye in March. So let's cancel the February, it's gone.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, and then, so our next meeting will be on Wednesday, March 11th.
Think-
26th.
I think we have to vote on eliminating that February meeting. That type of motion.
Thank you, Tony. We don't have to make a motion on, do we need a motion on that?
Just to be safe, yes,
Okay.
your village code reads that you only have to have 4 meetings a year, so, that
Okay.
by vote of the trustees, you can eliminate the February 11th meeting.
Then I will make a motion that we eliminate the February meeting for 2026.
Since you're presiding.
Okay,
Since you're presiding over the meeting, Mr. Purdue, would you
Oh.
entertain the motion from another trustee?
absolutely.
I'll make a motion that we not have a February 11th, 2026 meeting and defer into the March meeting.
I will second that.
Okay, can we have a vote on that roll call
You don't
vote?
need a roll call.
No roll call vote, just everybody say aye.
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 Thank you, Tony. Okay, we're out of that. Next is election ordinance discussion. What is that?
This one has to do with when they were, the election time was for people to, sign up as a candidate. We discovered in our election ordinance, there's nothing that says like you have to be 18 or you have to be what the requirements are. It was presented also to Todd, questioned him, and he sent a thing that says, I guess that was a state statute, correct, Todd?
We're talking about the qualifications.
The election.
I'm sorry, okay.
Okay,
I
so.
zoned out for.
That's
What are we
okay.
talking about?
So the election ordinance, when we were doing it, we found out that Danielle found out there was nothing in there about requirements that had to be 18, you gotta live in the village, that kind of stuff. So Danielle sent an email out to all of us, including you, Todd, to say, okay, what is it? And you came back with a response that we quoted, I'm assuming it's a state statute that you quoted. And basically saying if there's nothing in the ordinance, then you just go to state statute. I think for ease of people who are looking to find out in the future, that in our ordinance, we either add that statement saying, hey, go to state statute, whatever, and have that so they know where to go, or do the wording like Ozark, they have that exactly spelled out. So that's one part of it. The other part, so I think we need some reference to where somebody has to go or what we have for those qualifications. Also, I thought, Lake Ozark in their ordinance, they have a paragraph, which wasn't, none of this was in your paragraph that you came from the state, that Lake Ozark has this paragraph that says, nor shall any person be elected as alderman who is in arrears of any tax, lien, forfeiture, defraction, or, I think we need something like that in there too, to clarify, so people know for the future, because if Danielle's retired and none of us are.
That's a form they actually have to fill out to be a candidate.
Oh, do they? Okay, I'm sorry, okay. then just have something in our election ordinance that says. Refer to state statute, whatever, either that or some exact wording.
So your village code does refer to the state statute and the minimum qualifications essentially. The only one you would add, sort of to the photograph that you attach would be subsection B, which says that they would be in any arrears of the taxes or have any important forfeiture. But again, as you know, indicated, that's I think it's fine with generate as part of your candidacy.
Yes. I know. I guess I missed that reference in there on the state statute that.
So I guess what I'm trying to say, Renee, is it's just redundant to put it in the village code.
Oh, I agree about the liens and all that, but I guess I just missed the part where it referenced and the place it says. Go to state statute, whatever, for here's a qualification about their age and you have to live in the village. I didn't see that in there.
No, is this something necessary, needed? Do we need to go through this at all, or is this?
So it's on the agenda tonight, apparently for this discussion. I haven't drafted a bill for the village trustees to look at if you as presiding party tonight or Chairperson Baldridge want to appoint an ad hoc subcommittee to look into this, to give me some direction on what language you might want to put in that bill. I'm happy to draft a bill. I will tell you over the course of the last decade or so that I've been legal counsel, you have not had an overabundance of candidates for village trustee. So if you put too many restrictions on this.
Okay. Yeah, but here again, I'm not putting a lot of restrictions, I just want it to be easy for people to see where they have to go, just so they know what age, I mean, I'm sure it's out there at the state statute or whatever, but I guess the ease of somebody going to see, and you never know, Todd. You may one day have 3 people applying for a candidacy. Maybe you may be interested.
We do.
They like the 3 hour short term session.
Yeah, I would be willing to be on the sub, whatever.
Okay, so that's it. That's at Chairperson Baldridge's discretion to appoint the ad hoc committee.
Oh, okay.
I would encourage him to do that. And then that way, when it's delivered to me in my desk, then I know exactly what you guys want to put in the bill. And then my drafting process would be much swifter and
Yes.
less complicated.
Yes.
Before I do that, I want to kind of poll the board. Do you guys want a subcommittee and do you guys want changes made to the ordinance?
I'm okay the way they are personally, but you know, again. Maybe I'm a little punchy right now, so,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I just don't want to create work that we don't need to create work for. So any other comments? Or is everybody okay with the way it is? Does anybody else have any concerns? Does anybody have any concerns the way it is?
I don't see anybody jumping up and down, no.
Okay,
Outside,
Well-
yes,
Yeah,
let's be clear, yes. Okay.
okay, well, why don't we table this for now? It doesn't sound like there's a effort from the board that wants us to do this right now. I appreciate Renee bringing it up, and if we see in the future that we need to do something, maybe we do it. Is that okay?
Yes. Yes, it is, all right, off to general discussion, anybody have any general discussion?
One quick thing, I was wondering if it would be possible, you know, the village has done a lot of stuff, especially past year. You know, ordinances and pickleball. And because communication is so hard to get out, I know we've got a new website, which is great. But because a lot of people aren't used to the new website, and the POA handles most of the villages, we're members of POA villages. I was wondering if it would be okay if I get a hold of Dell or whoever and put up together a article, and I'll pass it by you guys or Tony, or just listing like what happened in what the village has done, like the new ordinances that we put out, you know, the fireworks, food truck, the new things we did, the pickleball court, pavilion, Trillium Park, you know, just kind of highlights of what our year went through, just so everybody in the village and the POA residents members will kind of know to get the word out, so people know that we are the trustees, the village, we're doing something.
Yeah, Chairman Tony, you have any thoughts on that, any takes on that, any objections?
I don't have any objections. Again, I just, refer to the board to make sure that's what everybody wants to do. That's something that,
Would that all be done with the newsletter?
But we only,
Yeah,
oh, sorry,
that's what I was wondering, if, you know, Danielle, when
do one of those.
do an article like our Village Voice.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have a few more people that sign up to get emails, and, I mean, because I know for the last four years or whatever, we put on the back of the Village Voice, if you would like to get these emails, you know, sign up, and we've only got a couple.
Well,
so h- how about this? If I reach out to Della and say, is there any way you can separate your emails that you have that are just the residents in the village, that they would be able to share that, which I'm sure it's going to be no, but it's probably worth an ask to say, hey, can we get some of your contacts?
Yes.
Speak on the topic.
Okay.
David, may I speak? on
Yes,
this
yeah.
I'll reach out to Della.
The way this is set up, if you guys recall, as a general rule, and not occurring tonight, there's generally a POA liaison that attends your meetings. And then you have a liaison from the village, if you're it, welcome. And then he can report back to the POA, those things that he believes to be important. You do the same thing perhaps with the road district. You also do it with water district. So there is a system in place that you have a liaison that attends these meetings. If during their general discussion, you're called upon to give a report as to what's happening in the village, you can certainly do that. Then the POA, at their sole discretion, can determine what's important to them and what's not important to them. And they can include it in their newsletter or their website if they choose to do so. So that system is in place. If you just utilize the system that's in place, I think you'll be fine. My concern is, you have a sunshine law that's overarching on you. You have to retain public records, and you have to do certain things to comport with the Missouri law. If you start reporting things in other people's newsletters and publications, my concern is you'll have to keep a record of that, because it now is considered perhaps part of your public records because you've now done it with someone else. So I would ask you to reconsider that proposal and instead represent the village as a liaison at these separate meetings, do your oral report at those meetings, and let them make the decision as to whether they find it invaluable or not, and whether they want to post it in their own systems. Otherwise, I would rely entirely upon your website to publish any happenings in the village.
Okay,
Thanks, Todd.
thank you, Todd. It sounds a whole lot better whenever you speak.
Yeah.
So, okay, end of that discussion, I think then the attorney.
I think the next thing, and Jim's here, and I completely respect the Camden County Sheriff's Office and the relationship that you've had. It's a long-standing relationship with premium being paid to the Sheriff's Department of $80,000 or $85,000 in new money, plus free room and board down below, along with utilities and maintenance and repairs. My concern is, and I'll go on the record saying this as the prosecutor of the village, there's been a dramatic decline in the number of tickets that are being written out on the horseshoe band, which leads me to believe that activities, there's been a slowing down, a lessening of the instances of conduct on horseshoe band. I just hadn't heard that. The reports have been fairly consistent from Jim and the other representatives from Camden County Sheriff's Office. We still have drug activity, we still have theft, we still have cars running in the buildings, we have all kinds of things that happen out here. My concern is, I would ask the trustees to look at the numbers and encourage the sheriff's department, perhaps, or stronger emphasis on the number of tickets and the issuance of tickets in the village to make sure that it can with the historical average.
Okay. Was that we're off to you again. Counselor, city attorney update is that program.
That was part of my report. The activity at the municipal court level, has lessened. We've just not had as many tickets processed in the municipal court. There haven't been any instances of any other code violations other than the criminal topic that we addressed. There's the filing of information against the woman that lives primarily in Colorado, and that tamped that down fairly quickly. So, like I said, I just want to voice my opinion and my concerns, and I've suggested privately among those of you that there is concern. And I'm not saying the sheriff's office isn't doing their job. I'm not certainly here to disrespect their activities. I know they've had a lot of staff shortages and turnovers and different things like that. I just think it's a point of emphasis that the trustees should put in the seeking perhaps going forward, and we should really encourage the sheriff's department to write tickets and be a little bit more active out on the shoot down, particularly the areas of the village of Four Seasons.
Thank you on that, Todd. Danielle, city clerk, update.
I just have one thing, we have a CD maturing the end of the month, and so I need to know what you want to do with that. You have this piece of paper.
Yes.
That tells you the different rates that I found from First Bank at the Lake, Central Bank, Oakstar, and Patriots. It's broken out in the different months in the columns, and the percentage is APY, the month, and then the equals to that number or the date after that is when it would the new mature date would be on it.
Okay, well, it looks like the one that's maturing is at First Bank of the Lake.
Yep.
Right now they're offering for that 7 months, 4.2%, which is the highest one on here. But it would mean in 7 months, we have to, along with that, we probably need to start looking too at our bank balances, because I think we probably need to convert some of it over to CDs. Only in the general account and the capital account. The straight account is the minimum one. So I just need to compare the budget, what we see in January for the income and whatever, and make a decision about switching some of that money over into a CD. Short term may be good, may be bad, depending on what the interest rates do, and none of us have that crystal ball.
So is there a recommendation, unless anybody else can chime in and give their thought, was there a recommendation that we go with what Luann said, that's at the 7 months? Is that right?
I don't have a problem with that.
The, for 10 for 20 months, if you think, interest rates are continuing to go down, which I would think they probably would, but.
Yeah, that's what we're anticipating.
Right.
If you look for 10 for 20 months and be done with it.
And that's one that's in the general fund, which we have 5 general fund CDs. So you could probably stretch it out. And I do have, extra money in the general fund right now for 2026.
Okay. So am I hearing a stretch it out, do a 10-month? Is this?
20 months.
20 months, I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's almost 2 years.
I can't make a motion. So.
Just from legal counsel's perspective, the maturity date appears to be 2026 for every CD that you've got. So that would put one outside the confines of 2026. So I like Ron's suggestion.
I like that too.
Okay, so I'll make the motion then that we, on this particular CD, keep it in the same bank for the 20 months at 4.1.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, all right, that's great. Danielle, was there anything else for you?
That's it for me.
Okay, did you have, comments from the visitors? No, we don't get any. You've also.
Bob Chambers was the longest meeting.
Yeah, this is, I believe, the longest meeting, I think.
Yeah, Bob was longer than this.
Yes, it's been a long one, okay.
You got 2 more minutes to beat Monday night, so.
Day of the next meeting, again, as we said, it's always the second Wednesday of every month. Just to be clear, except now we're losing February, it's out.
And November.
Is there another out?
Well, and also.
November will be a different date too.
I got a whole.
Veterans Day. And then also April 22nd is different because our election is on the 17th, so we have to inaugurate, or we have to. Bring
Yeah.
That's just to come up here and talk to Danielle. She's just sitting here not doing anything.
Not a thing.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Before you adjourn, I just want to confirm, we are not meeting again until until March the 11th.
That's correct.
All right.
Okay, is that in your motion? To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn the meeting. I'll second.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Dave, for taking care of us.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony.
We'll see you guys.
God, thank you too. For stepping in.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.